Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. You guys know what time it is. Time to talk about current events in the online fitness community, and this is going to be a non-drama video. And you guys know I'm not doing many of these right now, and I've told you guys repeatedly I generally don't care what other fitness YouTubers are doing. I'm not interested. I don't care. If it can't make me or you stronger, then there's no reason to even know they exist. I don't need to know about it. However, in this case, this particular video needs to be made for me to not be a hypocrite. And I'm in my own life journey in general of just trying to be a better person and a better human being. Something I'm working hard on right now on a personal level. It's important to me. And when I tell people out there that if you hold the way I used to do things on this channel against me many years ago, even though obviously nothing that I do today looks like what I used to do before, every aspect of my personal life, my training, my channel, the way I approach this stuff is so much different that when I've updated and corrected previous behavior for a very, very long time, if you're holding that against me, it's absurd. But then I do the same thing to other people like Alex, and I look at goofy, stupid stuff Alex used to do that he has basically pulled away from and evolved himself as a person, evolved as a lifter, evolved as a teacher. If I don't acknowledge that, I'm a hypocrite. Okay? That would make me a hypocrite. I don't want to be that. So this is one of these where I look at the videos Alex has made in the last week, because people have linked them to me. Say, no, you really do. I know you don't care about current events. You need to see these. And I did. And I look at that, and I look at the stuff he's done about the rack pulls, and I have to look at that and say, Alex, I have no beef with you anymore. You have come a long way. You've come a long way. I'd rather just bury the hatchet with you. Extend a peace offering, an olive branch. Doesn't have to acknowledge it. He doesn't have to accept it. And we can move on from there. But the fact of the matter is I do need to acknowledge that my criticisms of Alex in the past, he has corrected those things. He's corrected them as far as I can tell, and he's putting out good information now. So as a coach myself and as a teacher myself, when I see a younger man who I've been critical of, who has corrected his behavior and evolved and become better, it has to be acknowledged. Okay, that's only right. So he's already said he's going to basically start training legs, squatting and deadlifting, right? Said that for New Year's. My biggest criticism of him, because that's been the annoying thing to me, is when his fans come over and claim that he's stronger than me because he can bench press. Now, anyone who's a lifter is going to roll their eyes at that nonsense. Alex knows he's not. But it's annoying when he doesn't squat and deadlift. It's just like, guys, screw off. He's a good bencher. But if your bench is your heaviest lift and someone else deadlifts more than your bench by 10 pounds, they're stronger than you, right? They're 10 pounds stronger than you on contested lifts. But that's besides the point. He's now going to squat and deadlift. And if his training is on point, he'll probably get a pretty good squat and deadlift. He's developed a good knowledge of training. I have no doubt in my mind that within a year or two, he will have a respectable squat and deadlift to go with the bench. I no doubt about it if he trains them. Okay? So I see it happening. I see it happening. I'm going to call it now. I'll predict it. So over to the point with the rack pull. He's basically said, look, guys, he's more or less denounced the rack pull. He didn't fully, but he more or less did, guys. He doesn't give carryover. And then he talked about below the knee rack pulls, and he talked about the fact that it needs to be within 10%. He used Louis Simmons' 100 pounds, but then he came over and said 10%. He injected his own. I'm going to agree with his 10% rule. Any variation of the rack pull in which you can pull more than 10% of your normal floor max, okay, you're not going to get particularly stronger on it. You're just not. Now, I agree what he also said. Strength is strength. Pulls carry over to pulls up to a certain point. Up to a certain point. Some carry over better than others. But he is basically promoting a below the knee rack pull, but he also points out you can do it with blocks. And I'm cool with that. I do that. In fact, you guys have seen me pull block pulls with the exact same blocks he just bought and he's using. We're using the same tool for this. Okay, we're using the same tool for this. Our deadlift philosophy is very, very similar. The things that he broke down in that video is pretty much the same direction I go with my own training, my own deadlifting. People have acknowledged my deadlifting has gotten pretty strong. Right, my goal is 650 conventional this year. 650 conventional, which again, pretty respectable for a guy my age if I can get there. And we are going to get there. So our philosophies are similar. He said a lot of things about speed pulls and varying different forms of speed pulls. That's the way I coach my clients, right? The stuff that he broke down there is how I coach my clients. So if he's acknowledging the same sort of methods I use for people who pay me, I've got to give a nod of respect and go, yeah, you're moving in the right direction. He's in the right direction with it. Talking about doing varieties of pulls. You can do, again, he's calling rack pulls, we'll call them block pulls. If we take the rack part out, I'm cool. I like block pulls. This concept's the same. Just you're not beating up your rack and you're not beating up your bars. That'll be my only issue with speed pulls off of it, the way he was discussing. If you want to destroy your own equipment, that's fine, but don't do it with other people's stuff. But yeah, speed pulls against bands, speed pulls against chains. Using sumo, conventional, block pulls, deficits, bands, chains, all these things, just changing these slight variations in the angles and the strength curves. That's how I train. So I train every week. He's promoting the stuff that I'm promoting. Okay, we're more or less on the same page. So when I see him doing this and discussing this stuff now with the deadlift, our bench program is almost identical right now. He and I bench using pretty much the same programming, very, very similar. He's promoting then in the way that I teach deadlifting, the way I do deadlifting, the way I teach my clients. How am I supposed to be critical of that? You can't be. You can't be. I have to look at that and say, okay, we now, and this is a shock, a lot of people are going to be like, wow, the YouTube fitness just broke. Alex and I more or less promote the same training ideology at this point. Our training ideology is more or less the same. We're in the same camp. We both promote conjugate style training. We both promote high variation conjugate training, right? Things have come around full circle. And this is what I'll say. I'm going to give credit for that. I see a young man who made a lot of mistakes and promoted a lot of goofy stuff years ago when he was a child. Now he's come around full circle. He spent years learning. He spent years learning, studying, doing his best to learn, to do his best. He's gotten stronger. His information has improved. I don't see the goofy, annoying kid that I used to be critical of. I don't see that anymore. Okay, now I see a young man who is promoting serious strength training and promoting sound training philosophies. Okay. I don't feel any need to disrespect a person like that anymore. In fact, I look and say, okay, you've done good. You've done good. You've improved. You've improved. Well done. And yeah, it's just one of those videos that needed to be made. It needed to be said. I don't want to do a lot of videos discussing the other people out there. Guys, don't ask me about Goofy Greg Duchette. I don't care. I don't care about his debate with Dr. Mike. He's not really even qualified to have that debate. Just call it what it is. I don't care about that stuff. I care about getting strong. I care about making people stronger. But in the case of someone who over here I've had beef with in the past, I've been critical of in the past, who has changed and evolved, and we have a similar philosophy and outlook on training now, it needed to be said. Credit needed to be given. And it's time to just bury the hatchet. It's time to bury the hatchet. There's no reason for me to hold anything against Alex. And I would extend that and say, hopefully, hopefully, and again, Alex, he's a grown man. He makes his own choices. He's under no obligation to return that, and hopefully he doesn't hold anything against me anymore. And it just is what it is, guys. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. Hell yeah.